You guys are in for a treat today because you are going to be hearing from one of my clients, Neil, who completed the Recovery Blueprint program and had an amazing story to tell. Awesome transformation, and I can't wait for you to see it from his lens and be able to relate to other people who are struggling with the things that you're going through and come out on top. So, very informative video, very cool to see. And yeah, let's just dive in.
All right, welcome everyone. This is one of my clients, Neil, who is brave and courageous enough to actually hop on a Zoom call and kind of talk about some things that he's experienced within his own recovery. How it all started. What was hurting his life and where he's at now. On the other side of things, free from this addiction and living a much better life because of it. In this video, you're just going to be hearing his story and it's going to be very relatable. You're going to hear it from someone else other than myself. So, Neil, let's get started, man.
All right, thanks for having me, man. I'm glad I'm here. So, I've discovered your channel one day when I was searching through YouTube, and I was trying to find people who struggle with the same addiction that I did, which was addiction to escorts. And then I found your first video that you did, and I found it very relatable. And I had those feelings too, where I just went to the bank and I just wanted to just withdraw money. I would see an escort, and after the session, I would feel terrible. I wouldn't feel good at all. And I think, yeah, since I started this program, I have got rid of that need altogether. Like, I don't need to like see an escort anymore. I feel like by focusing on like what I truly want in my life, and also by focusing on God as well, I was able to get to a point where I felt comfortable in my own skin. Like, even though, like, yeah, maybe some other guy might have this this beautiful lady, that doesn't mean that I can't.
Right, yeah. Trying to get after what you want, man. And yeah, it's been cool to see it because, the transformation that you had was one of the craziest I've ever seen. And just to give people at home a better understanding of that transformation, let's kind of start at where you were beforehand. Because when you came to me, your life was honestly just a shambles, and we can say that now because you're just on the better side. It's there's so much duality between where you were then and now. So, yeah, let's kind of talk about what was really going on in your life, where you're at when you're going out and paying for these escorts and struggling with that. What did your life look like? What was really going on there?
Man, my life when I was going out and paying for escorts, it was it was miserable. I I didn't have any good connections with any women. I just seemed to just uh want to just attach myself to somebody and get rid of this empty feeling that I felt inside. And it was incredibly tough, uh, just having these urges and fighting them. And I remember, like, every time I would see the bank, I would I would think, man, I could withdraw money right now and just go see an escort.
Mhm.
And and then, it would only last for an hour, that session. And there I was again. I felt terrible about myself, and I
Yeah.
was $400 short.
Mhm. Yeah, you're definitely stuck in the addictive cycle that most people face, where you go out, you pay for sex, you feel real bad about yourself, and the only way to escape that is to go out and do it again. You're definitely stuck in that cycle. And yeah, how was that behavior affecting other areas of your life?
Oh yeah, it was affecting my family life too, because what I used to do is I used to just steal for like from my sister. I would take money from my sister and just
Yeah,
use that to go see an escort.
yeah, 100%, man. Just trying to find the funds available to go out and do it, by any means necessary. Myself personally, I've gone to places and I didn't have the money for it, and then I just couldn't pay for the massage after the fact just because I just wanted to go so bad. So it's definitely a real thing, and I can so much relate to that. But yeah, it can definitely affect you with your relationships, affect your family, and even your finances. Like you talked about. Um, I think you had a real unique position because when you came into the program, really didn't have too much going for you, right? You didn't have a job at that time, and the money that you would have, you would go and spend on escorts. So, talk about how it was really affecting your finances and kind of where you're at now, and how being able to overcome this thing has only been able to relieve yourself of this burden that was, kind of constricting your bank account.
Oh yeah. So the burden that I had, man, when it was affecting my bank account a lot. Like I would be spending more than like 200. I would be spending 300, almost close to $900 on an escort, and that would be for 1 hour. And it hurt me a lot because like I then realized, wow, I don't have enough money to spend for other things that I want to do in my life.
Mm.
And I felt like, yeah, with that addictive cycle, it was keeping me back. Like
Yeah.
it kept me stuck in a position where I just didn't want to, uh, where I didn't want to grow, but I just wanted to like escape this feeling instead of like facing it head on
Yeah.
and just tackling it. Um, yeah, I think how it affected other areas was in terms of finance. I didn't have enough money sometimes when I just for food,
Mm.
and some days I would it would be hard for me like to find something to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear where you're coming from, man, and I was definitely in the same shoes. It's tough. It's tough, and you'll find anything to try to escape from that pain of your current situation. And you committed to taking action and really solving that, um, and it really paid dividends in your own life, right? One thing that I do want to ask you is like, what made you want to commit to making this change? Like, when did it just click for you? It's like, okay, I gotta stop doing this.
I think the point where I've really needed to stop is there was a time where I saw this one escort and she did something that was just I saw was disgusting. Like
Mm.
uh we had just finished our session and she when she was cleaning herself, she just took a towel and just scrubbed her, you know. And to me, I was like, oh, that's
That's not it.
disgusting. Yeah. And so from there, I was like, okay, I need to get away from this because I mean, in the past, seeing escorts, I've had caught a lot of STDs, and I don't think it was the STDs that really phased me the most, other
Mm.
than just like the disgusting behavior
Right.
of escorts, what they do after sessions, like
Mm.
how
Yeah.
they clean themselves between men. It's just it's vile to me.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, I need help. I need to find somebody who could get me away from this life.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, also one thing I wanted to mention is that I did feel like I was living a double life. I did feel like I had a different life that I was keeping hidden from my mom and my dad, my
Yeah.
sister. I was keeping that to myself, and it felt like I felt like I couldn't really be genuine with who I was.
Mm.
But now that I'm away from all that, I feel great.
Yeah, it must be
I
awesome,
feel
man.
amazing. Like,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, let's talk about that now because you definitely had an awesome transformation, and you definitely described, what your life looked like beforehand when you're really dealing with some of these things, and how deep it went. How it affected your relationships, your self-esteem, your finances, and just keeping you stuck in an awful position where trying to solve it on your own was just not the answer because you would try to do it, and then you're sitting in the pain of constantly repressing these urges and fighting against your own body, and it was like a lose-lose situation. But through this program, you've gotten some great results and made the whole thing easy. So, where are you now in your recovery? Like, what's really going on? Are you getting urges to go out and see these women? Do you have a desire to? What's going on now?
I don't have any desire to go out and see any escorts. I just decided after like when I was in this program, I wanted to really commit to this recovery. I really wanted to improve my life because I didn't want this problem to continue until like I'm 40. Like
Right.
I'm already
Yeah.
26. I mean, 14 years from now I'll be 40, and it's not that
At that point, you
long
don't
away
care.
for me.
Yeah.
And I don't want. Yeah, I wanted to just get rid of this problem. How it just affected every aspect of my life. And it made it harder for me to meet women. Even though like I did have some girlfriends in the past, but it just made it harder to actually talk to other women because I was at a point where I wanted to just talk to some girl and ask her out, but then I would have this thought in my mind, oh, I could just go see an escort. It's easier and it's
Right.
more efficient. And yeah, but I'm glad that I've just stopped doing that because I have a lot more money in my bank account and I have a lot more, I feel I have a lot more self-esteem, like self-respect for
Yeah.
myself. Because I feel like I respect myself to an even greater degree than I did before.
Mm. Yeah, man. Do you feel with that self-esteem increasing, it can definitely have an impact on your confidence. Do you feel more confident in who you are and what you're doing?
Hmm. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Now that I've been through this program, I really do feel like I'm more confident in myself. And one thing I really loved about this program, so it gave me some actionable goals that I could
Mm.
work towards. Like, because some people will just say like, okay, uh, you they'll give you suggestions, but one thing I like about this program is that it was like it gave me goals. Like, okay, this week go out and do this. This
Yeah.
week go out and do this, and that is slowly but surely began to change who I was.
Mm.
Because now, before then, I didn't have a job. Now I have a job. Now I work out. Now um, I do improv. Um, I wanted this change in my life. It This change just made me the person I always knew I could be.
Yeah. 100%. You just got out of your own way and started to get after what you really wanted, which is awesome to see, man. And yeah, I'm glad that you found that it was very actionable because that's the way that I designed this thing. Because there's so many other recovery options where it's so reliant on accountability, support, or like with therapy, it's just like it's very woo woo almost. You're talking so much about your past and what led up to this. But simply said, if you just knew what to do, you would do it. And you, Neil, did everything that I was possibly given inside of this program, and you got amazing results because of that. You're not getting urges anymore. You don't have a desire to go out and see these women anymore. You're dominantly in control of your own life. You're more confident. You have better self-esteem, and you have more money in your bank account. You're doing the things that you want to be doing, and it's all because you just took action and started, just wanting this recovery, and you had the process to get there. So, yeah, man, I'm glad you found that it was very actionable, and you challenged yourself, which is cool to see. Um, yeah, man, I want to hear this from you. Like, what do you see? Because on my end, my perspective, like there's two types of Neils. When we first started working together, that was a completely different person than who you are now. And I want to hear that from you. Like, how do you view this transformation?
I view it as a positive. I've really stepped into the right path. And I, from where I was before, where I was just stuck in this addictive cycle, and I was stuck in this cycle since I was 19.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've finally broken it. Like,
Mm.
I am now a person that can envision what he wants his future to be and then chase after it.
Mhm.
And that's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, honestly, I'm glad. I'm glad that I actually discovered you and your channel. Because I mean, this is the program I needed. I needed to have something actionable that I
Mm.
could do to improve my life. And yeah, therapy, I tried that in the past. It was like you said, man, like in your first video, it's nice to talk to a therapist to understand some stuff about yourself, but ultimately what I found is that it didn't really solve my issue.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
like I needed an actionable plan so I could go out and make the change for myself. I can't just be like, oh, I'm going, I'm going to talk about like this part of like my family life and how it affected me. Like,
Yeah.
okay, that's good, but I want to know how to fix it now.
Yeah. There's a difference between knowing why it's happening versus actually being able to solve the problem. So, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. And yeah, man, you had a crazy transformation. And it's awesome to see. Um, it was definitely a big commitment on your end. Coming from someone who was spending all this money on escorts, not having a job at the time, because basically you're just in a season of self-destruction, right? You just had all these negative, dark things going on in your life, and you just weren't in the position where you wanted to be. So, this program is a decent commitment. This is not some cheap thing. You're really paying for the outcome to be able to overcome this thing once and for all. And for you, it might have been a scary commitment. So, um, what really motivated you to be like, man, I know this is a big challenge, and it's difficult for me to get this done right now, but um, I need to do this. What was your why for just committing to this thing and doing it despite any fear?
It was it was mostly for one, it was me. I wanted to change, but also another big reason is because God.
Mm.
I really do think uh, by being in touch with God, it really made me see things clearly. Like, I don't want to just keep wandering the earth and not have like this direction in life and waste it on all of these vices.
Mm.
I want to be um, I want to be close to God, and I want to be close to where God wants me to go.
Yeah, man. What would you have to say to someone who's thinking about doing this and committing to this? Because if someone's watching this video this far in, they're probably thinking about, possibly getting inside of this program or just, seeking a further step and seeing what they can get out of it. So, yeah, what would you say to that person?
I say do it. Even though I will say this, um, if you have the money, do it because it's worth it.
Mhm.
It really is because I mean it's something that if you really really do want to change your habits and where you want your life to go, then this is the program for you. It's worked brilliantly for me.
Mhm.
So anybody else who's watching this video and who just has these thoughts of like, I want to quit this, I want to get out of this cycle, I want to just break away from all of these self-destructive habits, do it. This is for you. This program will give you actionable goals that will lead you towards the place that you want yourself to be. Whereas I can't think of like any other program that's like this.
Yeah.
I mean, therapy, like I said before, it's like they'll only talk about your past, but they'll never give you like actionable goals for the present. This program focuses on the present, and if you really want somebody that can stand by with you and just uh, help you stay on your path, and to help you make actionable goals for yourself, yeah, Josh is your man. Seriously.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And yeah, I'm glad that you've gotten some great results out of this. And if you can do it, Neil, anyone can, really. Because you got from the point where you're just in a real difficult spot, real tough, and now you've completely did a 180 on your life, and you're sprinting in the right direction, just getting after what you want, and that's a really cool thing to see, man. And if I just get more people like you in this program, man, it's going to make my life so much easier because you've taken every single thing that I've possibly given you and just ran with it and made it your own, which is so important for people in their own recovery. Um, so yeah, man, I appreciate that.